Hi there, Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, David Jennings and Paddy Powers, Rob Catterson looking ahead to Sunday's action, and there's two Oakses, one at Cork and one at Shanty. Let's do the Cork one first, 350, it's the Munster Oaks, it's a Group 3, and David Jennings, take it away, who's going to win?
Yeah, it's one of these races where there's ifs and buts about a lot in the race. I thought Red Stars had a small chance, but then Declan McDonough is riding Bengala. What I thought on entries would have been the second string of John Ox's, but it's quite interesting that he does ride her because she was a pretty decent. She beat Aurora Butterfly in a maiden at Leopardstown, and then went to a listed race at Navan where she was third to Phosphorus Marina, who has since franked the form, and Pocket Full of Dreams was second, and it looks like it wasn't that bad of a race. I thought because Declan was riding her, that she was interesting and it's obviously able to perform to a high level. The obvious one is Glamorous Approach, who's probably going to be a short price here. Rated 103, beat Laganor, my beloved Laganor, last weekend at the Curragh, and is improving rapidly. Will be a short price, so my advice would be potentially to back Bengala without Glamorous Approach.
Okay, and I must correct myself, it's the 320, the Munster Oaks, not the 350. Rob, have you got a view on the Munster Oaks?
Yeah, as DJ said, it's a fairly competitive Group 3 without any star in the making. Dermot Well had a few entries for this, and he's got a good record, and I think that the fact that he solely relies on C Swift, who was second to Somehow with Goran back in April, I think that could be a tip in itself. If you go back through her form, she's fairly consistent, and I think given that she's likely to improve quite a bit from her first run of the season, I think C Swift is the most likely winner.
Okay, let's do the 350 at Cork. It's the Cork Derby. It's a handicap. DJ, have you had a good study up of this one?
I have, yeah. It's. I mean, there's only 11 runners, which is kind of strange considering all the flat trainers are giving out stink that there's not enough flat racing for them in Ireland, and yes, you have only 11 runners in a Premier Handicap on good ground, so it's a little bit of a contradiction. I'm going to chance La Vagabond for Eddie O'Grady. I just think it ran really, really well at Cork on its last flat start. It was just beaten a neck by Rakonga off 93. Should have won that day. Actually should have won that day. I thought it was the best horse in the race. Since ran twice over hurdles and been a little bit disappointing. But it seems to be that he's just a far better horse in the flat, even though he's quite a good jumper. So that makes no sense. But this is the type of race that he blossoms in. He's an improving flat horse. Chris Hayes is in good form. I'd imagine this has been the plan for a while. So I'm going to go for La Vagabond.
La Vagabond in the 350 at Cork. Rob, do you want to fancy a little crack at the Cork Derby?
Yeah, I suppose the obvious one on form is Mawani. Hard to believe Ger Lyons could get so much improvement out of a horse formerly trained by Sir Michael Stout, but the change of scenery has obviously done the trick. He's 2 from 2. He was a really good winner at the Curragh back in May, and they've kept him for this. So Mawani to complete the hat-trick.
Keels, anything from Doncaster or Salisbury on the Sunday for you?
Yeah, one of Donny, 4 o'clock, Dugan in the 6 furlong sprint. He's probably better known as an all-weather horse, but he ran one of his best races last season. Went 4th in the Big Field Handicap there. He's off the same mark. I think he's going to run a big race with David Egan taking off £5. We got the listed Cathedral Stakes at Salisbury at 3:45. Mr. Lupton is likely to be a very short price favourite. He's run 3 very good races so far this season, but he didn't hold his form last year. So I'm just be worrying if he's very, very short, he might be worth taking him on. I think Stellata has been running far better than her form figures. She's not really in the same class, especially given the weights, but might go well at a big price.
Okay, and back to the Emerald Isle, because we've got, as well as the Cork undercard, we've got Downpatrick. DJ, anything else?
Just one thing at Cork, Bruce, in the 220, I'm not just going to give you the winner, I'm going to give you the forecast. Magic Bear, filly for Eddie Lynham, is improving rapidly, gone up £10 for winning at Navan, but could develop into a group sprinter. I think Eddie thinks she's pretty good. She beat Jeannie Child at Navan last time in a handicap, and I think those two will finish first and second again. Magic Bear to beat Jeannie Child in the 220 at Cork. And Downpatrick, not like, it's very strange to have a double meeting at Downpatrick at the weekend. Not something, I think it's their first ever 2-day meeting. Lovely track. Richard Little does a terrific job up there. And the horse that I fancy most is Jack Slade in the 405, the beginner's chase. Has been up there a couple of times. Likes these type of tracks. I thought it ran well when second to 8 till late at Clonmel, and that would be the one for me. Jack Slade in the 405.
I think it was Downpatrick where once, I think they called a 3:30 p.m. inspection on Christmas Day for Boxing Day. And all the lads in the office were absolutely up in arms because, I mean, you know, Christmas Day we like to get in, get it done and get out. So I rang the fella up. I said, look, 3:30 Christmas Day for an inspection. What are you doing to us? This is unbelievable. And he said, he goes, I only said 3:30 because I'm visiting my sister nearby at that time. And so I thought, I said, no, can you bring it forward? And he goes, yeah, of course I can. So it was absolutely brilliant. It was fantastic. Anything else in Ireland that we should be backing on Sunday, Rob Catson?
Yeah, the only one that I gave a shout to in the 4:35 at Downpatrick, Cecil Corbett. He ran well at Listowel behind Dean's Road in probably a better race than this. He is a little bit hit and miss, but Davy Russell's on board, and I'd say he's got a pretty good chance. Cecil Corbett, previous course winner in the 4:35 at Downpatrick.
I think he'll win as well, actually.
There you go.
Right, we'll stick with you, Rob, for a show from Paddy Power on the 3:05 at Chantilly. It is the Prix de Diane Longines.
Yeah, it's the French Oaks. We're 6-4 about Rhododendron. It's 15-8 Shutter Speed, who was pretty much favourite all week. 9-2 about Terrakova. It's 14 Senga, Monroe Bay, Kite Surf, and On the Moon again, and 20s Bar.
What a race this looks like, Kills, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Shutter Speed had been favourite all week, but then they supplemented Rhododendron. Shutter Speed will have to be better, even better than she looked to beat Rhododendron, I think. She would have been very close to Winter in the 1,000 guineas. I'm not sure she would have won. Probably didn't quite get home, but that was still a very, very good Oaks, winner anyway. Miles clear of the rest. If she hasn't felt the effects of those two runs, she's got to go. She's got to win.
Right. Okay. DJ, what do you think will happen?
This is a really interesting argument, or I suppose case, because you've got a filly in Shutter Speed who, the minute she won at York, John Gosling said, right, we're going to France. That's it. This is the race for her. We're not going to Epsom. So she's been trained for the minute for this race. And then you've got Rhododendron, who obviously ran and had a grueler in the Oaks. So you have to kind of weigh up how much of significance is that one filly has been trained for the race, the other filly, it's an afterthought. Now, Aidan is a genius, and these fillies seem to be able to run every single day and run better the next day than it did the day before. So it's really interesting. I think Shutter Speed will probably win. Would I be shocked if Rhododendron won? Absolutely not. So that's just a watch race rather than a bet race for me.
Where was the bit of the argument that you said was interesting? Rob, what do you fancy?
Yeah, I sort of hear what DJ's saying. Like Rhododendron.
Yeah, because it was an interesting point. That's why.
It was very interesting.
Captivating.
Yeah. Like she's obviously a brilliant filly, but she's had two hard luck stories. I wouldn't say hard luck stories. Obviously, Newmarket was hard luck, and she obviously didn't get home in Epsom. And you just wonder now, is she as good as they all say? Listen, Sunday is going to tell us that. Shutter Speed coming from a Group 3 win. I don't know. The two of them could be worth taking on. And Kite Surfer Godolphin, she comes in on the back of a Group 3 winning over a mile and a half at Chantilly. Stepping back in trip won't bother. I just think at an each way price. I think there could be a turn up here, and maybe Kite Surfer, the boys in blue, might be the one.
What price is Kite Surfer?
14s.
Wow. Okay, Royal Ascot then. Excited, Kills?
Yeah, definitely.
Fully sorted for knowledge. So you've been doing the... because it used to just be Cheltenham preview nights, but now it's Royal Ascot preview nights as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done a couple. I did one on Wednesday afternoon, which was extraordinarily boozy.
Yeah. What was the best?
So much so that it was actually it was Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, sorry. And I did one last night. I can barely remember.
What time did you have your first drink on Wednesday, and what time did you have your last drink?
About 12:30 and about 10 p.m. About 10 p.m. But I must have done 4 bottles of wine.
And that was on the back of your boozy weekend in Spain as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bunch of 50 to 60-year-olds pretending to be 20 to 30.
God. What's the best thing you learnt that someone else said at the Royal Ascot preview nights?
Well, it's funny, not the one I went to, but I got a text this morning saying that Sir Michael Stout was at one last night, and he just said that Mainstream will win the Duke of Edinburgh unless Ryan mucks it up.
Wow.
So there you go. It's owned by the Queen. It represents some of the hottest handicap form this season because it was third to Frontiersman and Top Tug at Newmarket. So
Okay, right. Now, what I'm going to do for the rest of you guys is, or all three of you rather, I want your best of the shorties, and then we'll go with the best of the long shots. So, best of the shorties. Start with you, DJ.
Well, it's not that short, but he's my banker to meeting. I'm really, really keen on the Tin Man in the Diamond Jubilee. I think Fanchau's horses are running great. The vibes are very good, and it's got the form in the book from winning the champion sprint at Haydock. So he's 8-1. I think that's a cracking price.
Okay, I look forward to seeing what your best long shot is when we get to that. We're doing the shorties first, so you go with an 8-1 shot.
Okay.
You all right there? Can you okay?
I thought you were going to get all the short ones first.
No, we're going to do the short. Yeah, we're going to do the short ones.
My long shot.
Look, shut up!
Oh, sorry.
We're doing the short ones. And you've come up with an 8-1 shot, all right? I'll make it clear when it's your go to talk next. Rob Catson.
So my long... I'm joking.
Rob, what's your best short one?
Yeah, I'll stick to the script, and it's Order of St. George in the Gold Cup.
Okay, well done. And Kills?
Well, last night at the Ascot preview, Adrian Beaumont was there, and he looks after all the foreign runners, and Wesley Ward won't have Happy Like a Full Beat. And if you look at the form of the British and Irish fillies over 5 furlongs, none of them are any good.
What day is that?
Probably worse than last year. That is in the Queen Mary on Wednesday.
Okay. Right, David Jennings, what's your best long shot? Start speaking now.
It's in the same race as Paul. It's in against Happy Like a Fool. Mamba Noir, 33-1, trained by Ken Condon. This is a whiz. She's really, really quick, and she's far better than she looked at Naas last time. 33-1 each way. Mamba Noir in the Queen Mary for Ken Condon.
Well done, DJ. Rob Catson, your best long shot.
Okay, I have two, okay?
Yep.
The best long shot is Aqaba in the Coventry. He ran it, obviously, in the Curragh on really soft ground, and he didn't really fire, but Charlie Appleby has given a really upbeat bullet, and he's 20s for the Coventry. I think he can bounce back. He's a previous Ascot winner. But my bet of the week is in the Albany. It's not Jessie's Alpha Centauri, but it's Aidan September. I think she could be the real deal. She was brilliant at Leopardstown. She was the only Aidan O'Brien trained 2-year-old to win on her debut, I think, this season. I think she could be the next big thing. She's 7s for the Albany, and I think she'll lower the colours of Alpha Centauri.
Word on Wednesday, I heard that she may well be going to the Chesham, and she's the Chesham horse rather than Clemmy.
Well, there you go. And she's a bigger price for the Chesham.
Yes.
Even better.
Yes.
So your long shot is a bigger price than DJ's short one.
Exactly.
Okay, Kills, drum roll. What's your best long shot for Royal Ascot?
There was a race at Epsom the other day, the Woodcote Stakes, in which De Bruyne, who was absolutely hacked up, and he's now 6-1 favourite for one of the favourites for the Coventry. And the horse that was second was smashed off the boards, Card Sharp, and he had De Bruyne horse beaten all ends up after 5 furlongs, but just didn't stay. He's come out and bolted up at Beverley again since, and he's 14-1 for the Windsor Castle. I think that's a stupid price.
Fair enough. The next thing I'm going to ask you is anyone going to Ascot? Any of you boys coming over?
No.
And
I'd love to. Unfortunately, not. No.
Yeah. When you get married to Aoife next year, bring her over and treat her to a lovely day at Royal Ascot. DJ, I've got one more question for you. Do you remember the Jim Bolger 2-year-old that bolted up? I think it was in the first race last Saturday that Justin gave a positive word to. What's it called? Dangerously something, or what's it called?
It is called. Olana. It's
got quite a sort of long name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on, ask somebody else a question there. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's a long name. It's like...
is it coming over to Royal Ascot?
I have it. It's dexterity. Verbal dexterity,
exactly. You were showing no verbal dexterity there. Is that coming over to Ascot, do you know, DJ?
I think so, yeah. I think he's got him in the Coventry, I think.
Very interested in that one. Kills, weekend plans.
I'm going to just prep for Royal Ascot, basically.
Just
both
study.
Days, yeah. Study, get some pages ahead, so we're nicer ahead, and yeah, basically that's all.
Units of alcohol consumed?
0. I shall not drink now until probably the Saturday of Royal Ascot.
Okay, DJ, what's your weekend plans? You got a game of Gaelic football?
No, I'm going to make up for Paul here in the drinking front. I have another wedding to go to tomorrow.
How was last week's one?
Was I at a wedding last week?
No, it was. I think it was Frank who was at a wedding.
Yeah, Frank was at one last week. Yeah, I've got a wedding in Athlone, and you know yourself, Bruce. It's got to the stage now where I have to be taking notes at these weddings. So yeah, I'll be watching on intently to see little clues along the way.
Okay, and Rob, what's the weekend hold for you?
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow, and I'm working Sunday.
Yeah, okay. What happens on a day off? Do you have to do domestic chores, or are you out drinking with all your mates?
Usually domestic chores, but I'm playing golf in the morning, and then I'm going to the pub to watch racing, and then I'm going to watch Kildare beat Meath. So it'll be a great day.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right, lovely. That sounds like a good day. Okay, chaps, thank you very much indeed. Good luck at Royal Ascot next week. And don't forget, join us all next week. Maddie and the crew are here on Monday to get everyone revved up for Ascot week. And then we are there live from the course every day. And then next Friday, looking ahead to the weekend. So do join us every day next week for more Postcast.